of us talked until the van pulled up into the open garage. We parked. Mia whispered, "Close your door very, very quietly. Don't slam it. Mom can hear like a mouse whispering prayers from close up. Don't make any noise above this level of a whisper. If she doesn't hear us, she's not going to wake up, and I don't have to explain stuff tonight. You can try to convince my mom you're not the devil in the morning." I'm like, "Why is the mouse praying? Why can your mom hear them? Who are they praying to? Are there like cheese gods who demand sacrifices?" She told me that wasn't the point and told me again not to slam my door. She got out of the van quietly as she could and snuck across the concrete floor. She reached for a rope attached to the top and pulled it all the way down, closing the garage without making a sound. Proud, she turned to me. "Nailed it," she whispered. "Slam." She looked at me in horror. I looked back, also in horror. My mouth hung open. I was thinking, don't slam the door so hard that I slam the door. I am so sorry. Stomping her foot and stretching out her fingers in anger, she said, "I asked you to do one thing. One is a hard number. I messed up. I'm sorry," I replied. "Apology loop," she said. From the kitchen entrance of the garage, Miss K rushed out. She turned on a single light. She stood in her black nightgown, looking hard and confused. We stood covered in paint. "Mia, is that you?" she asked. Mia rolled her eyes. "No, Mom, I'm Dumbledore. I'm here to solve all your problems for you." She shook her head as if that were the dumbest question ever. Miss K's face got angry red. I know that look on a mom's face. I should have stopped myself from letting her pick me up from the park. She shouldn't be hanging out around me. This is why I don't deserve to have happiness. Why can't I get out of my way? "I'm sorry," I said, hyperventilating. She turned to me. "Apology loop." She turned to her mother, rolling her eyes. "Yeah, Mom, I picked up a hooker, bought some blow, and joined a cult too." Miss K looked at me and sighed. "Are you the cult leader or the hooker?" she said to me. Mia put a hand on my shoulder. Since my knees were shaking, my face must have looked like a fish out of water trying to breathe. "Maybe both," she said. Miss K took a couple of steps towards us. "You don't have a license, Mia." Her left eye twitched. I gasped. Mia shrugged. "If someone was ever home to take me to get the test, I would have one." Miss K is like, "Maria Serenity? What is going on? Why is Aurore here? Close to 1 o'clock in the morning." We looked at each other, hoping the other would know what to do. But of course, I'm stupid and I can't think of anything. Mia rolled her eyes at me after not saying something. She starts explaining, "Bianca will figure out the van is gone. I went looking for Aurore at the park and found a glow party going on. Someone gave them a package with a futuristic PDA. Strange stuff happened. A puppet told us we were in an identical dimension, here to deliver fast food." My hand shook as I reached out to show the PDA to Miss K. She looked at it, tired. "Nice Palm Pilot." Miss K closed her eyes and let out a deep sigh. Identical dimension. This is what you came up with to tell me. Out of all the things you could have picked, it's an identical dimension fast food? Do you think I'm stupid? On the futuristic device, I looked up the apps, trying to find some way to show Miss K the employee video that we saw. But the video was gone. I couldn't find it. The phone had a weird setup that made it super hard to find anything. Mia looked at me. I shook my head. "I can't find the video. It said there would be an 8-hour shift and then we'd get to return when the shift started or something. Miss K stepped towards the kitchen door. What is happening is you are going to bed. I am calling Aurore's mother to come pick up the identical dimension traveler. Miss K looked at me. What's your number? I don't know what my number is. Which is true. I didn't bother to memorize my house number. What was I going to do calling my house anyways? Check on the answering machine to see if the house was lonely? My mom would never pick up. Miss K walked over to me. I held my breath. She took something sticking out of my hoodie. Taking the flyer from my math book. The future treats ad on the back faced me as she looked at the names on the parent meetup flyer. She found my name and walked to the kitchen. She picked up the receiver on the wall. Fingers punched in some numbers. She won't answer. Followed her inside. My hands fell flat on the counter beside Miss K. Mom, stop. Mia stood near the refrigerator covered in envelopes marked bills, held on by those magnetic things. They were all unpaid. Let's get everyone home, Miss K huffed, waiting as the phone rang. Cue to tragedy. For the first time, my other mother answered the phone. I was doomed. Sorry to call so late, Miss Chandler. Aurore is here and... She paused. Miss K turned to me as my mom spoke, slurring her words over the receiver. She couldn't stop looking at me. She knew. I listened. She listened. My mom had told her something. I lowered my eyes. You should drink some water. She hung up the phone. Mia hesitated before asking, what did she say? Miss K turned away from us. She spoke. That Aurore can spend the night. I'll drive you both to school in the morning. Does that handheld device tell you when your shift starts? Is this going to interfere with that math class you're failing? I shrugged. How about you both go to sleep? Miss K turned back to talk to us. Instead, she saw me grabbing something from the top cabinet. I poured coffee into Mia's favorite cup, the one with the emo llama. I handed it to her. And then I realized what I did. We looked up at her, together. How do you know where the coffee cups are, Aurore? She asked. I didn't answer. I took a sip of coffee, hoping she wouldn't notice me wide-eyed. She shook her head. Go steady. And if you're worried about whatever this PDA time thing is, we can deal with it later. There's leftover pizza in the fridge if you want it. I only have 40 bucks left, so that might be it for a while. I'll call my sister in the morning. I'm going to bed. Thanks, Mom. Mia walked further into the house and turned back to look at me. Miss K went back to her bedroom, closing the door. I stood there, confused. She knows what's up. She's like, no one is in trouble. We yell it out sometimes. Come on. I'm used to, fighting with fists and stuff. This is all weird to me. She almost smiled, but she sounded annoyed. Get used to it. We brought the pizza slices up the stairs to her room, on plates hot from the microwave. Mia sat on the floor next to me. After using a napkin to wipe neon paint off her faces, she took a slice of pizza from the plate on my lap. Her lips twisted. How can you work for a company you didn't sign up to work for? How is that, legal? I nodded. The PDA buzzed. We jumped about a foot away together in shock. She pointed. Is there a make it not do weird stuff button? Something else on the screen came up. Take this order now and receive a $2,000 bonus. Coffee delivery. My eyes went to the order details. $2,000? I can make $2,000 by delivering coffee? I could find a place to live and eat, couldn't I? For a month. That's about how much my mom pays in rent for this place. I know this address. That's Lost Coffee. We're always at Lost Coffee. Order 66. We could pick up the order before school tomorrow. Your mom pays $2,000 a month? About for this house? I asked. She nodded. If you include utilities, yeah, she pays a lot. We don't know what this is. What if this is some kind of scam? The video did have a puppet. But if there are more jobs like that, we could make some real money. Maybe my mom could take some time off if we help out. Did you see all those bills on the fridge? Mia said. We don't know what this is. Though I kept reading on the screen, $2,000. Of course you don't want to do anything, Mia blurted. You never want to do anything to make your situation better. There's so much about this thing we don't know. My fingertip glided over the glass screen. I don't think we should risk whatever this is. She looked hurt at this. I'm not going to mess this up this time, I said. She never answered that. From how her lip twisted, she wanted to say something else, but didn't. It had been hard to sleep after drinking so much coffee with so much excitement. But we lay close to each other for a few hours, with the window cracked, listening to my CD player skip every minute or so. Still laying on the floor, because we're floor people. She had the right earbud, I had the left. We both listened to the same CD on repeat until we fell asleep and the sun came up. I wake up cold at the K house because of how low Mia liked to keep the thermostat. She wraps herself in blankets by the time the sun rises. After staying there for a while until she could bear to get up and face the day, I use this time to go downstairs and make coffee until she calms down. After she and I first started hanging out, we'd always start fighting first thing in the morning. I'm the grumpy one. She's an angry wild bear the entire morning. She threw a spoon at me once. That means to stop talking. We started following a morning depression checklist. It's our routine of coffee and panicking. Things got better. Kind of. That morning, after showering and borrowing some of Mia's clothes, Miss K drove us to Lost Coffee in her expensive Mustang. The place was close to her school and didn't have as much traffic. I fumed over having to carry around that PDA. I couldn't leave the thing in Mia's room. But what was I supposed to do with that for the whole day? Keep it in my pocket? What's the point? The device uses the internet without having to dial up, but I could just walk to a computer. We went to get out of the car, and I was like, bye, Miss K, real fast and stuff. But, she said, Aurore, can I talk to you for a moment? Alone? I bet my face looked like someone had asked me to tap dance on steak knives or something. I mouthed to Mia, save me. Then I remembered she couldn't read lips. And that Miss K could totally see me mouthing stuff. Mia stood there squinting at me confused, trying to figure out what I was saying. I'll get you an Americano. She shook her head and headed into the neon building. I sat alone in the back left seat behind Miss K, who stopped the Aurore's birthday mixtape. She let out a breath as if relieved. The sadness of the music hurt her or something. She pulled out the tape and examined the label. Oh, she said, is this tape yours? I gulped. Yeah, Mia made it for me today. Happy birthday, she said. I sat frozen, unable to speak. I tried to say something that sounded like Smanx, but my mumbling words drowned out halfway through saying it. I nodded a few times instead. That seemed to be enough for her. She also nodded. The seats smelled clean. That's what I remember thinking, trying not to think. I'm always finding new ways to do that. I asked her, Is this about the confetti in the room last night? I can explain. There was a long pause before she spoke to me again. She sat gripping the steering wheel with both hands. She thought a while before saying, I'm not sure what dimension we are in, but whichever dimension you find yourself, you can stay with us, she informed me. Money is tight? It's bad, actually. Really bad. I don't know how much I can help you. Squirming in my seat, I exclaimed, I can look for a job. It dawned on me. My fingers glided over the PDA in my pocket. Oh, I have a job. I can help you. You mean the Palm Pilot job you found last night? She blinked a couple of long blinks. She turned around in the driver's seat to face me. Some of the orders on the PDA are for a lot of money. It's a real job, I think. I showed the amount to her. Her left eye closed and her head tilted sideways. Something about this all seems off. She glanced sideways. You sure this thing isn't going to start asking you to take your clothes off or something? I reached for the door handle. I will never take my clothes off for money, Miss K. She shook her head. You know what I wish somebody would have taught me, Rory? She reached for her purse. In case you didn't know, Aurore is a confusing name my mom picked for me because it sounded cool. A lot of people don't know that the R-E at the end is silent. So the teachers and the other kids would call me Aurore or Rory for short. I don't like to be called that anymore, but I wasn't going to correct her. I wish somebody would have told me not to owe anything to anybody. I haven't made a sale in months. She seemed to reflect on the thought. Her face got weird, like that wasn't something I was supposed to know. She went on. Make sure Mia finds a payphone and checks in with me after school. I'll be at the office. Might have to fly back to Chicago tonight. She rubbed her eyes, then handed me two $20 bills from her purse. She's going to jump without looking someday. I know because I live out of a suitcase for most days of the year, away from my family. And that's how I got here. With you around, maybe she'll think twice about doing Mia things. Miss K, she's I'm never going to leave her behind. You can trust me. I'm stable. Miss K grabbed my shirt as I went to get out of the Mustang. I flinched. Wait, she said, loosening her grip after seeing my mini freakout. Do you see that person? They are stumbling inside. I should go in with you. I can throw down. I lowered my raised eyebrow. She gave me a death glare. She leaned towards the steering wheel, tapping her fingers. Throw down? She remembered the fight from junior high, the one where all the counselors and therapists got involved. I got to go study math, Miss K. We got a test this morning. I got out of that Mustang so fast, I slammed the door and ran into the coffee shop. Be careful, I heard her say behind me. I found Mia waiting in the back of the coffee shop, collecting pillows from the other 8 retro sofas lining the outer walls of the shop. People sat drinking coffee in large black mugs. The purple and light blue tubes lit the place, casting shadows on the register on the L-shaped counter. The aroma of coffee beans and indie books lingered in the air. I walked past all the college students sitting cross-legged on the floor and sat next to Mia on the sofa. She reached over and put a pillow between me and the armrest. Beethoven played over the store speakers. She handed me the Americano. The drink didn't last long, as I swallowed the whole thing in about 20 seconds. I placed my empty mug next to hers on the coffee table. You watched me freaking out the whole time from in here, didn't you? I asked Mia. Yeah, that was intense. What did she say to you? I sneered. pulling up the PDA. Mia bumped her hips into mine, moving closer. What did she say? I'm staying with you. If I can help pay some stuff off. We are taking the shift and I'm giving your mom the money. And she also told me you spilled sour milk in my locker. I glimpsed at an abstract painting of a crow pecking at a cucumber on the wall. I took the job on the device. Shift begins. You have 8 hours to take orders. At the end of the shift, you might return to your dimension. Good luck, worker. We care, it chimed. She's letting you stay with us? Mia asked, shocked. In this dimension, I guess? I asked, feeling as if I had slammed the door of the van again. She leaned over and hugged me, pressing her forehead into my waist. What are you doing? I asked. Having a moment. She fidgeted with the pillow, not sitting flush. Shut up. She let go of me and sat back up. We're going to figure all this out, this life stuff, aren't we? Yeah. I let my head rest on hers. I'm never leaving you again. I tapped on confirm. Now that your shift has started, you can take an order, it said. These orders are from regular customers who want a good old-fashioned treat from the past. Don't forget to smile, and don't forget to say the future treats motto. Our motto is... The speakers cracked and hissed. I held the device away from my body. And we're gonna buy your van from your aunt. She hugged me again, which completely threw me off, because this hugging wasn't usually a thing. Not after long, a woman in her early 30s covered in awesome tattoos walked to the counter. She called out order 66. I hugged Mia tighter before getting up to grab the drink. That's mine. The stumbling drunk Miss K saw out in the parking lot stood in front of me. They wore a red tie and a wrinkled white button-down dress shirt. That's not your coffee, kid, they said. It says it's my order on the PDA. I held up the device. The stranger held something of their own near my device, on top of it as I laid it in my hand. Before I could pull it back, I heard something said, authenticated. I backed away, turning to Mia, who squinted at the stranger in the store. What did you do? I asked the stranger. The stranger ran to the counter and grabbed the coffee. Mia stood next to me. She held a pillow ready to use it. What are you doing? Why would you take her? The stranger asked, drooping their shoulders. How did they know who Mia was? They went on. I could throw this, you know. I'm being nice to you, which is nice of me after what you did to me. The drunk took a few steps back. They were moving towards the exit. What did I do to you? I don't know you. I put my hands in my pockets. Why do you think I look like you? They hissed. I peered into their familiar eyes. Why wouldn't you put a bag over your head at least? I asked. Other people in the coffee shop turned to us and watched us argue. The cool goth lady waved her hand. Whatever this is, get it outside and away from here. The drunk shook their head. I am you in the future from another dimension, but you should know that by now. We got off to the wrong foot here. Let's all go talk things out. I have some hard things to say to you, but I'm going to set you straight. I know a great margarita place in 2019 with some cheap specials. My heart sank. I couldn't believe what I heard. I'm like, I don't drink. I'm 18. You're joking with me, right? We don't. Thinking about their offer brought a random mental image of my mom into my head, her rummaging through the refrigerator for one last can of beer. The other Me's started patting their pockets with their other hand, as if they were searching for something. I have an ID that says you are of age. It's not even fake. Give me your phone and it's yours. Mia grabbed my clenched hand. Breathe, she said. The stranger went on. Can you stop being a sad little emo kid for 5 seconds, little Azami? I got things to do. My jaw clenched. That was on the package. Are you calling us a Zammy now? Like you think that's a name normal people use? What are you saying? Azami. I changed my name to Azami. I'm like, cool. And the first choice you made in this Aurore-free life was to start calling yourself Azami. Cool. You're dumb. I'm getting out of here. They tightened their empty hands. But the to-go cup was gone. Run! I yelled to Mia, holding the coffee. We dashed out of the store. Azami ran after us, but gave up. Instead, they raised their middle finger at us.